What's up, amigos? Commander Jaime here today. Today, I'm excited to show off Ripples and Premium. We got new support in the V-Series clan collections, so super excited. So we're gonna go over some key plays like a low row and a high row type of play, and then to show off a deck list template that you can actually tweak from there, and also some suggestions from other card fighters too. So let's get right into it. Check out Next Level Gaming's playmats, as we got some recent ones. We got some more overdress playmats, but also the Garrett Chronicle one is really cool too. I know Mr. Time Leap or Vanguard Insider really loves this playmat too, so I definitely recommend it. It's really cool artwork. Even I like it, and I don't play the clan. Check out their playmats too, and you can use the affiliated link down below for a 10% discount on your next purchase. So we'll start. The card that really makes things happen is Flash Ripple Odysseus. So this card really just takes any of our rear guards, shoves them into Soul, and then we can red or Ripple with the same grade as our Vanguard onto our Vanguard circle, and then also pull out our rear guard that is not the same unit as Ripple Odysseus, as the same grade as your Vanguard, and call it to rear guard, and then it gets plus 2k until the end of the turn. So really the key is rewriting and also getting the benefits of rewriting. There are skills that actually go off, and at the same time, because we do have a grade 3 Ripple with an Excel gift, we will be generating multiple Excel circles too. And if we do Excel too, we'll also be drawing cards. So that's one of the reasons why Odysseus is such a good card. It is a once per turn, but if you have multiple copies, you can use it per copy and essentially be able to rewrite multiple times during your main phase. Quick disclaimer too, I'm pretty sure at this point everybody knows in Bushiroad that Odysseus is really a thing to be considered. The ban list is coming up probably in the next week, 2 weeks from now of this recording too, so I don't think this will affect their decision. I think they already know if it's that good, they actually will touch it, and if they don't touch it, then they don't touch it. For me, if we can, I would like to keep one at least, and that's the purpose of this low row play, is to show that with one Odysseus, it's not as bad as it seems, but when you open with multiple ones, that's when it really gets hectic. And so for any disclaimers in that sense, if it was gonna happen, it was gonna happen. So why not just enjoy it, show it off, and show to other card fighters what this can do. So in this example play, let's just assume we just wrote up naturally 1, 2, and then we're gonna ride to our grade 3 turn. We'll get an Excel, we'll draw a card, and really there isn't much that's going on except for one Odysseus. And let's say we just open that and we call it to rear guard. Also, quick tip before you do Odysseus: for every Genovius you have on the Vanguard, it has a once per turn skill where you can Soul Blast one and actually call one of the cards from the top 5 and superior call it onto rear guard. So in this example, my top 5 looks like something like this. Ideally you want something like a beater. Let's say Coral Assault, we'll put it here, and then shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Then you can call a dummy rear guard, and let's say a crit trigger, you can shove it into Soul with Odysseus skill, rewrite a grade 3 Ripple, another Genovius. Genovius gets an Excel gift, so we'll get another, I'll put it over here for easiness on the eye here, and we draw another card. Let's not forget that we also pull out a grade 3, so you could put it here if you want on the Excel gift. And then with the new one, you can Soul Blast again once more to check the top 5 and call something like a booster. And then depending on what you have, you could just call a board in a sense. That's really much it at this point. And a sequence of attack, this is not like ideal, this is just an example. You could attack, I guess what the weakest column is this, 16. Then you can attack with this one. Since this got 2k, this will be actually 14 plus the Excel. This will be 19. That's the second wave. And if you want, you can boost with this. So this will get the plus 15k because there's 4 or more other units that are rested. Then you can attack with this Coral Soul again, get another benefit. And then on attack with the Vanguard, because we do have a counterblast, you can restand one of your rear guards like Coral Assault, and then any drive checks, ignore that, can go to the standing rear guard and then actually just attack for another attack. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attacks. So nothing too crazy, but pretty solid in my opinion. So I feel like with one Odysseus, it's almost like a Fabas Lambros turn, in the sense that you'll get the 2 circles, you'll do 5 to 6 attacks, depending if you have a Wheel of Soul or a Restander rear guard. So it's easy just to be able to do this. So I think this is fair enough in my eyes, where it doesn't make the deck too broken. Now onto the high roll play. So I'm gonna show off a ride progression, what happens when you open up with 2 Odysseus, a Satorio, and then some kind of fodder to call immediately on turn 1 to be able to use for Odysseus. You'll see how this can scale out of proportion a little bit, and I figured this would be the best way to show it off. So let's assume this is our starting hand. We have to draw this. That's all cool. We're gonna ride this as Vanguard first. And so we're gonna get the draw. And then also Sotorio, when it's placed on Vanguard Circle, you could check the top 7 for a Genovius or a Pathroth. Let's say you immediately get the Genovius for your grade 3 turn. And so now I'm gonna make some room for the screen. And with the hand that I have, we can call the first Odysseus. And we can call, let's say, a trigger. And this will go into Soul to ride another Sotorio from the deck as well. And then we can pull out the one in Soul if you want to right here. And it doesn't really matter, but the sense you'll get to get another search. So you can check top 5. Let's say you get a Pathroth this time. So that's another +1 in your hand. Now we can call the second Odysseus. You can put them in the back row so they're safe from attacks and shove the same unit. And again, you'll write another Sotorio. And again, Sotorio can go off to get another Pathroth or a Genovius. So add that to your hand. This will come out as well, just like that. And that is a turn 1. Let's say we're going first, so we don't attack, and they attack us, so we take a damage. Cool, got a heal trigger, no problem there. Then following with our turn, we can use the same cards, let's say Pathroth that we rolled with, and you can call, honestly, even the same Pathroth that you drew you search from that effect, so it's free fodder. And you can do the same thing with this Ripple, put it into Soul, search for the other one, and then pull it out to Soul as a body. And its skill is on attack, so you won't have any more benefits from being on place or during the main phase. This is when it attacks. You can use Odysseus again to shove this into Soul. And then here's a cool tech that other players have thought of, and even I myself, is the Pathroth from the actual ride chain. And the biggest thing is because when you have Sotorio in the Soul, this gets a continuous +1k, so it's a 10k base unit, and then it has a unhit skill. When it does hit, you can stand something else, and obviously you want to pull out a body in the sense of grade 2, which is the other Pathroth. And if you really want to go aggressive, you can call some bodies that you have. So then you can go something like swing like this, go like this, and then this they have to guard, and if they don't guard and it actually hits, then in that case you are able to restand something and attack. If you don't have the Genovius, for example, to ride to grade 3, you can use the Soul Blast skill to check the top 5 if you want to. But let's say I just save the Soul for now. Let's say on their turn they get rid of a front row units, they leave us at 1 damage, so we go back to our turn, we draw a card. Now here's where the fun begins. We'll ride Genovius, get an Excel, draw a card. Before, again, you do any of the Odysseus skills, make sure you take advantage of the Soul Blast skill to be able to Superior Call one of the cards from the top 5 search. So we got Pursuit Assault, we got Coral Assault, really good options actually. So in this example, let's see my hand. I do have a Nerissa in my hand, so I'm gonna call Pursuit Assault over here. You can call Nerissa over here as a rear guard, and you can use Pursuit Assault to Soul Blast 1, rest the card like this, and Nerissa to get to draw another card. Then Nerissa's skill, you can Soul Blast to restand it, give it +10k. So now on this Excel 2 circle, this is a 23k hitter. And because we're gonna use one of the Odysseus now, we can shove this rested unit and actually do the play to re-ride from the deck. And we got our Genovius. And we'll pull out this guy for now, and then generate the Excel marker as well. Let's put it right here, so it's more room. So many cards. So that's the first step. And then let's say, now that you have the new Genovius, you use its skill to Soul Blast 1. You check the top 5, right? Let's say your top 5 will actually bring out the next Odysseus, which is fantastic. And so if you only had the one, there's a potential chance to get to the second one as well with that skill alone. And you can use this one now to use the same thing, the skill where you soul charge it and ride another one and then pull it out and then get the Excel marker, draw card, right? So again, you want to use the skill to Soul Blast 1. Notice I'm Soul Blasting a grade 3 Genovius. I'll mention that later why. You check the top 5. We got a Coral Assault. Let's put Coral Assault here. Now for the third Odysseus, you can put it into Soul, ride the final Genovius that we have, pull it out, get another Excel. And as you can see, you got the 4th Excel marker. You can use this Genovius skill again to Soul Blast, check the top 5. What do we got? We'll just grab another Coral Assault. Then lastly, you can call more beaters. So you can call Pursuit Assault. You can call over if you have another one, because we drew more cards from that. And so as you can see, we filled up a board, and without calling over cards, we called over like 1 card or 2 cards. And with the hand that we have 4 cards left. And then of course our drive checks are gonna give us 2 more cards. Then we have cards like Narissa and Coral Assault. They're gonna go into Soul and actually give us 3 more cards back in this example too. So the reason with Pursuit Assault is because you want to take advantage of Narissa too, since you accumulate all the Soul. Pursuit Assault also scales with each Excel circle. So this is plus 20k on top of him being on Excel circle. So this is automatically plus 25. So this makes him a 34k. This is 29, 29, 23. This is plus 20, so 29 plus a booster, 29 plus a booster. So you can see these numbers are really big. So this is something a little more ideal in the sense too. So with that being said, an attack sequence, this is probably the weakest one actually. Narissa can be 1, this could be 2, this could be 3, this could be 4, since now they can see more for more rested units. 5, 6, and then attack, 7, skill, restand, and then 8. So again, we got 2 rearguard columns, we got 4, so that's 6, 7, and then a restand is 8 attacks. Now let's say, different variety of branching. If you were going second and you so happen to get the 4th Odysseus, you can use its skill to eventually actually be able to rewrite Matiatis. Matiatis is the Legion, and so because we actually were soul blasting and one of them was the actual mate, you can use Legion to actually Legion out that way. And what's really cool is that because technically they're both Vanguards, Genovius' skill still works too. So if you do have the open counterblast, you'll attack, use Genovius' skill first to restand something, and then you can use the Legion to restand another rearguard and countercharge, and then since you have 3 arrested, you can draw a card. So as you can see, this can scale pretty well too. So this is another option. So if you went second and you know you can abuse the Excel circle generation, you probably are better off just not striding and actually doing this play. That's how impactful that is. Lastly, if your opponent was kind of dumb enough to put you to 4 damage, when you're at 4 or more, the whole board will restand. And we just said it was 8 attacks, so that would be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 attacks at that point. And you don't even need the Legion at this point. You could be just an Obvious too, which is pretty bonkers if you think about it. So if they gave you 4 damage, or if there's a way to get a 4 damage, you can restand a whole board. So that's like the high roll, and I just wanted to take the time, like, wow, that's incredible. You're able to draw cards with the Excel generation. You're building up soul like your Genesis or Dark Irregulars, and I soul blasted obviously, and I was able to call cards from the deck to build a board presence on top of that. Really, honestly, you don't even need a counterblast. The counterblast is really just to restand 1 unit. Everything else is soul blast or just free when it's placed, or ride, and etc. So it's really powerful. Now into the deck list part of the video. So I'm going to show off a template deck list that you can kind of tweak from there. There's so many decisions that you can try out. So this is just a template, and especially since we just recently found out about this 24 hours within this recording. So I'm playing 6 grade 3s right now. I'm playing for the Genovius because you want as many copies as you can. Rewrite, get Excel circles, great skills too, and it's just a ripple. It's very beneficial. The Matiatis is another ripple. This is the Legion leader. So this came out in the Ascension waves, and a lot of the second wave of support for ripples came in that set. So again, like I showed, you can do Legion. This 11k plus the 12k will become a 23k Vanguard with Legion. You'll have Twin Drive. You can return triggers. You can return copies of the Legion mate, which is Genovius. So you're able to do it regardless if you have any left in deck. So this is pretty cool. So if you go second and it's better off for you to do the Excel circle generation, you're still going to do it, and this could be a card to help you make that a little bit stronger, but it's not really necessary. And it's also there almost as like a backup in case of deck out, because you will be going through your deck a lot. You have Pursuit Assault, Coral Assault, Narissa, you have this card, and you have other the Flash Ripple Odysseus, just being able to deck in your deck in general and drawing cards. So you'll see how fast you can go with your deck. Onto the grade 2s, we're playing 12 grade 2s, so you want to play power props for sure. I feel like it's necessary to really abuse Odysseus in the sense. If Odysseus does get limited, I can see it going down, because it's okay. Really, Satario and Genovius are the ones that do more for the deck. So, but it's just a nice addition. And then I recommend trying out at least one of the original right chain just to have that on-hit effect, and of course having a 10k base Vanguard too. It's really nice in that sense. And we have Pursuit Assault and Coral Assault over here on the top. So Coral Assault is really good in just generic Aqua Force, and so being able to take advantage of so many rear guards on the field. Coral Assault has an easy time to be able to be 29 or 24, depending if it's on a Excel circle or not. And it goes into the end into the soul until the end of the turn if you did 4 battles or more. So if you were able to do that on your grade 3 turn, and you could do it as early as your grade 2 turn with a card in the grade 1 slot, you can generate soul and dig deeper into your deck for some of the key pieces that you want. So if you don't have the Genovius or a grade 3, in general, that'll help with that. Pursuit Assault, again, you can Soul Blast and rest 2 rear guards. At first, I wasn't too sure about Pursuit Assault because Soul is a thing. Narissa uses Soul. But because, as you can see with Flash Ripple Odysseus, you're accumulating Soul. And depending if you open up with like 2 in the beginning, you're literally soul charging 2 cards every single turn. So cards like these will actually just benefit from it. And then your grade 3 turn with Genovius can benefit also using Odysseus, really refueling the soul for you to keep going in a sense. And this helps dig deeper to your deck as well because you do draw cards. And it's a fantastic beater. So as you can see, you have all these circles. It's like, okay, that's cool, but we need some beaters. And that's where really Pursuit Assault shines, because Excel Circle Generation is his middle name that he takes advantage of. Luckily, we're getting reprints, so those who couldn't afford NFT Assault before, rejoice. We are getting reprints, and I'm hoping that they're shiny because these commons are lacking, and I'm hoping to have shinier ones, so I'm getting more myself too. 15 grade 1s. Yes, it's a good number of grade 1s, but really it's because the Odysseus is here. And not because we're trying to make a room for Odysseus, but Odysseus needs to have a rear guard shove into Sol to really take advantage of the effect. So the more grade 1s you have, more likely you open with more of them, and you can call them immediately. You can't call a grade 2 or grade 3 at turn 1, for example. So that's why there's more grade 1s too. And Satario is super phenomenal. Like I said, when it's placed, you can check the top 7 for Genovius. So Pavrop, easy advantage. Why not take advantage of that? Also keep in mind that Pavrop and Satario have the second skill where if they were stood by a card's ability, they also get plus 5k onto the end of the turn. So they become 13k, 14k beaters respectively in their own. So that can come up and be useful in that sense too. And then we have Narissa. Like I said, really I just wanted to take advantage of Pursuit Assault, and why not, as a card as Narissa, really taking the resting mechanic, where Narissa can restand itself. So then the card that you rested as well can go into Sol with with Odysseus. And this can become a beater in that sense too, or a big booster. And then at the end of the turn, it'll go into Sol to replenish that and draw you another card, which builds up a hand for you even bigger. Then we have the Wheel Sol. This was another card where I felt like, okay, what's something that we can avoid Counterblast with? Wheel Sol comes to mind, and also generates more attacks. And it's not necessarily, it is a win more card too. But it also helps with Coral Soul. If you went second and you do open up with it, you can get the 4 attacks that way and then go into Soul and get some hand back. So that there's that option. But I feel like this is one of the flex spots that you can honestly pick something else and see what works for you better. Onto the triggers. So I really started with a basic lineup. You got the 4 draw, the 4 heal, and then the rest of the crits, and then of course the Blessed Favor and the starter V starter. I would recommend the V starter because you just dig deeper into your deck, and that is much more appreciated than the Ripple starter, especially if you do miss the right chain. So it just, I don't know, V starter seems better. And if you go second, you get a ticket shield too. And so with the triggers, I kind of want to spend some time in this. You can actually go a variety of ways. So one of the things that is nostalgic was actually 16 crits. So in the history of Ripples, there was actually a 16 crit build back in late G era to be able to really make this deck much more aggressive too. So that's one avenue that you can go to. Now with the addition of front triggers, it's possible to use them, but the timing with Genovius when it attacks, it requires to be having the front row rested. So if you attack with Genovius first, you can't use its restanding skill to get real benefit from that. So unless you really are expecting to go Vanguard first and then you got the front triggers to potentially beef up the rest of your front rows, that's one avenue too, but it's just something to thought. And then of course you can tweak with the ratios too. So I haven't spent much time with the G zone. Again, it's within 24 hours since the reveal too. So honestly, I feel like these are still the go-to strikes that you want to go to. One thing to note, you may not want the second jumbled. In fact, once we get P Clan Collection, you're going to replace it probably with Ferragus. So Ferragus is a great card that really synergizes with the deck too, because you're generating enough circles. This can generate another circle for you too, and really just be able to scale if you had enough heals to guard draw into, and then guard with for G Guardians, and you can restand multiple units that you build a board presence with. And in case you couldn't pop off, you could still fall off to the same one of Gembold. You will be going through your deck a lot, so just be mindful of that too. So depending on the matchup, you could make an argument for a second Gembold, but it's really in the situation if you couldn't pop off with the Excel generation Odysseus plays. Alexandros and Lambros restanding, beef up regards. Lambros is free, so you don't need a counterblast. Alexandros scales up. Valeos, lock them, no OT, and get more attacks potentially. And then you got the Megiddo Progenitor Dragon package. Again, if you have a copy of the Vanguard, you can Megiddo or this card. So it's really free play for now. So if there's any other strides that you want to mention, I know there's a Ripple stride, but it's just not that great. Like, I really tried, and even back then, it's not that great. It has to unhit. I guess you could use the Radio Assault, now that I think about it as I'm talking through this video, that guarantees on-hit skills. I'll put it on the screen. That might be worth checking out, actually, now that I think about it. So that might be another way to make that stride way better, because we have Radio Assault that we usually use in Maelstrom. Look at that, I'm already learning something as I go. And then depending on the room that you have for the G-Guards, like you want to play some Ice Barrier, some Ionis, Gophilia, and Dismal. You'll be having enough souls so Gophilia can be easily used, especially if you decide not to strat and you do the Legion play. If you have excess soul, you can countercharge with Gophilia and not be hurt from facing down into the G-Zone. Dismal, if you want to protect a certain rear guard, maybe like a Pursuit Assault, I don't know. It's just something that I'm used to playing. And Ionis, you build a big presence, you get free field up to 25k, shield power, and then once we get the Premium Clan Collection, you can do one-on-one if you want with the new Dianera too. So this is in the case if you don't have a field, you can still get some power up on the 4th battle or more, or you can make your Vanguard plus 5k if it was the first wave for the rest of the turn too. So it can help with guarding with that, so it's just key things in that sense. Now to wrap up the video with some suggestions, and also from other card fighters that helped out with this too, and also some other suggestions that I have yet to mention. So if you made it this far, thank you. You are true loyal Aqua Force fans, and of course just want to know more on how ripples work. So the first things first, Weirab from WCC, also known as David, him and I started chatting, and one of the biggest things is that you can write a different grade 3 with an Excel. So you can write Thavas, for example, or even Tetra Drive or whatever. Grade 3 with an Excel gift, just in general. Maybe Diamantes would work best. It's very generic, and it's a restander too. And since you're going to pull out a rearguard circle, that's a grade 3 with an Excel circle that has a benefit being a rearguard on top of that too. So that might be the best one. And I'll put those cards on the screen too if I haven't yet. And what's really cool is that because if you start with those and you open with you end up with the 4 Odysseus, with 4 of these bad boys, you can get all the Genovias from deck into writing that, and you'll get 5 Excel circles, like 5, which is crazy. And it's very powerful. So what I just saw wasn't the highest high roll at all. It was a good high roll, but there's even more high roll in a sense too. So shout out to Weirab for making me realize that too. The second thing, the second person too is Jose Nieves. He is the Puerto Rican champion for V Premium and Team League just recently with the Thavas build too. I actually plan to do a video after this covering his deck list, but he reminded me that we can use V Valeos, and even other people like Nisai has suggested, like Revon. They have skills where they reduce the power of your opponent's Vanguard, but Valeos keeps it permanently. So if you do have that Counterblast, you can use that immediately in Soul Blast to lock your opponent's Vanguard minus 5k, and then of course it's locked. So even if they get damage checks and they're at like 0-1 damage and you keep hitting the face, they cannot increase from there. It's like they're stuck. So it's a very strong play, in my opinion, that is potentially there. So maybe playing a couple Valeos might be worth trying out as well. And again, thanks to shout out to Jose Nieves and Nisai as well. And then from Twitter, Buster Shot actually has suggested these damage inflictors. And that's why I mentioned, like, if there was a way to get from 1 to 4 damage, you can do the whole board restand. And those damage inflictors just need 1 counterblast to go off, and because we do have the grade 3 heals, we can give ourselves damage and then use 3 of the damage inflictors to go to 2, 3, 4 damage. And literally the skill matters is when it on attack. So even if you drop check a heal and heal out of it, you can still get the full benefit of restanding your full board, and just really just seal the deal in that sense too. So that's something worth trying out too. I know I bought some for myself too, but who knows, we'll see what other ideas that you guys may have. So feel free to share some combo plays. I'd love to hear your thoughts. My question is, will you think that Bushiroad will hit Flash Ripple Odysseus? I want to hear your thoughts, and if so, in what way, whether it be choice restrictions or maybe like certain copies or just zero, you know, just let me know. I'm hoping that we could at least keep one. That's just me. I would like to enjoy this in premium and actually be solid as well. So I feel like one would be very much appreciated. And so with that, that's really the end of the video. And again, thanks for staying on. And if you're curious about the playmat too, this is actually Next Level Gaming's playmat. So you can use the affiliated link in the description for a 10% discount on your next purchase. They have multiple playmats. This is really cool. Zorga with Grand Blue, really cool. And then if you buy from 50 Card Shop too, and you're excited for your next sets, especially for a Recline collection, get those, use the code Jaime to get you a 5% discount. Or if you shop for TCG Player, feel free to use the affiliated link as well to support the channel. And again, if you feel like this was video of value, feel free to share it to fellow amigos, Aqua Force players, enthusiasts, or Ripple fans in general. Feel free to share the video, and I also put the history of blog as well in the description. I reposted it, so if you want to see the nostalgic history, you can do that too. And then again, like the video, it helps with the algorithm and help us hit 2K because we're so close, and want to do a giveaway, especially to all you. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe.